Thanks for listening to us or watching us on YouTube. If you like to listen to us, you can go to Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, anywhere you want to get your podcast from. You can listen to us there. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Yeah, baby, that's life. That's life. That's what all the people say. I've been up and down and all around and come on, Vandy. I'm waiting on you. Mysterious sea serpent found in 1817. What was it? I don't know.
Did you hear about that time a woman gave birth to rabbits 15 times?
Sometimes we give you all the facts, and then we give you more facts that contradict the facts. So you question all the facts.
That picture looks like she's holding up fish.
Yes.
No, it looks like a rabbit.
At a glance, it looks like fish.
From my perspective,
Like they're
it looks
cut
like
off?
fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally looks like a fish.
Welcome back to another episode of Tinfoil Testament. We are still three friends in a four-sided room. Jeremy?
We've got a special show for you guys.
Yes, sir.
That's right. It was Vandy's birthday
Happy
recently.
birthday!
We're a little late. His birthday was Tuesday. We're recording the Saturday after.
Yep. I'm checking
Or
into the nursing
or
home.
The Sunday after. You
And-
guys will hear it this Saturday.
And Andrew's moving y'all right now.
But it's Vandy's birthday.
Birthday day. My dad thought I was 5 years older than I am.
He thought you were 37?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's
Why?
like, happy 37th birthday. I was like, Dad.
You got 5 years.
Whoa. You did the Andrew that yeah.
That's why he was late.
No, you did to me what we did to Andrew.
That's why he was late.
And why
I
is the
got the
camera
cakes.
only on me right now?
It's your birthday. That's why. Don't say that, by the way. They're gonna think, oh, there should be video, and we're testing. We're not there yet, but we do have one camera.
Yes, we are testing.
We have one camera while Andrew's getting the cake together. We got one camera, but we're not gonna have it for this episode. Probably not the next episode, but
Yeah.
soon. TM.
Speaking of bunnies, and you're talking about bunnies, I was playing fetch with my dog the other day.
Your dog is a rabbit. Confirmed.
He does have a small tail, but I threw the frisbee. He came back, and on his way back, he just darted into the woods. And now I got a frisbee out there because I got him back, but I'm pretty sure he went after a rabbit, or maybe it was Mary Toft,
One of her kids.
one of her kids.
Maybe.
Cake is really good.
I like this.
Good old cash saver special.
Before we move on, do we want to share a story about Vandy like we did for you?
Do I want to share a story about Vandy?
Yeah, like we did for you.
Remember the time we thought we had everything and we did have everything and we ended up on an island with roaches and spiders and I slept on the boat?
We went camping for 2 nights, 3 days, and we had enough to camp for 2 weeks.
I was not there.
And Jeremy was not there.
I don't camp.
And we picked an island, and that island was completely covered in cockroaches and then spiders.
Which made no sense. I get the spiders, but the cockroaches, what are they eating?
Plant matter.
The spiders.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah. Dead plants.
Remember that spider that came out of your pack?
Yeah, it was massive.
It's
And I still
bigger
think
than
about
a
it.
silver dollar. I know that.
Yeah, massive. It looked like a wolf spider, all fuzzy, huge, but except it was gray and had red stripes.
Devil.
Yeah, I don't like it. I remember the first time Vandy killed a deer. Went hunting with us. He killed a deer, and it was a little puppy.
It was a little dog. No, it wasn't a dog.
It was It was a small little Bambi.
Bro, I hadn't
Shame
shot
on 'em.
a deer in 8-10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I got that tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, I said, nope. I'm keeping my heart rate down. And now I don't get nervous.
Yeah, I can't. I have the complete opposite problem.
You
It doesn't matter what
you
you
got to
do.
talk to. This is what I do. You both have seen Saving Private Ryan, right?
It's been forever, but yes.
You remember when the sniper's up in there? He's like, Lord, he's quoting some song where it's like, smite mine enemies or whatever.
Mhm.
That's what you got to pray while you're shooting a deer.
But the deer's not my enemy.
How do you know?
Could be a not deer.
He probably hates you. That's why they run away. They're prejudiced
Racist deer.
against every race.
Humanist.
Yeah, I don't have any fun stories like that with Andy. I just remember meeting him at work.
Yeah, that's true. You, me, Matt, Olga.
Go fishing in the dark.
And I remember that me and you went to
Mayumba,
youth.
was that his name?
Mayumba. Me and you went to Youth Congress.
Yeah.
We knew that this is the only story I can think of that's worth sharing. But we went to Youth Congress for a few days, so we missed like half of a work week into the weekend. We come back to work, and we knew one of the people was gonna not be there because she was pregnant, and we thought she might whatever. So she was gone because she was having a baby. But literally everybody else was off that day for some reason. Everybody in our department, our boss, like it was just me and Vandy, which we were not expecting.
I think I do remember this.
So we were already confused because we're like, why is it just the two of us? And then we were asked to do something and we didn't know what's going on. And
was
then you
that when
got
we
an
couldn't-
email.
That was when we couldn't get into the office because there was only people with key fobs, right?
No, we got in. It wasn't that. Or maybe we started off, but we got in. But then you had an email from somebody and you replied to them because it was important and we never heard back. The entire day, I remember we were like, are we going to hear back from them? The next day, we said, hey, this person emailed us and we never heard back. And they're like, yeah, she died. We're like, do you remember that? We're like, what?
Dude, this sounds so familiar, but I don't remember the name.
I don't remember her name either, but it was like, what? Okay.
And she died.
Because the entire...
I need help. Okay, how can we help you?
And then the next
Silence.
day... The next
That's
day...
why she needed help.
Maybe. Like, that's like the weirdest thing
I'm
that
sorry I
happened.
failed you.
She decided to call, email y'all
She
instead of
thought it
911.
was a technical problem.
That's terrible.
Oh God, forgive me.
That's terrible.
So that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then
To this
please
day,
assist.
yeah.
To this day.
To this day, please
To this
assist
day.
is probably in my top 5 hated phrases.
Please assist. He still does it.
Does he? Oh gosh. Like, yeah, my theory stands. At some point, you get stuck in a year, and everything after that, you don't progress. You just don't. Like your vernacular, what you say, your sayings, they don't. So don't be stuck, because you might be stuck at sea with Andrew and his sea snakes.
So tell us about sea serpents.
Is it Gloucester or Gloucester?
I'm assuming Gloucester.
Or is it like one of those where
Gloucester.
you have to run? Gloucester.
Gloucester.
That depends on where you're at.
Worcestershire.
Gloucester, Gloucester sea serpent.
Let's see. Let's Google.
Does it have anything to do with Nessie?
No.
No.
I'm telling you it's Leviathan.
Leviathan?
This is in Massachusetts. And I will give you no more information.
And from Boston.
I'm from Boston.
Gloucester.
No.
Gloucester.
It's not that. Really?
Yeah.
Gloucester?
Gloucester.
So the C's silent?
No.
C is pronounced as S.
The S is silent.
Gloucester.
The S is silent.
Gloucester.
I don't like that.
Gloucester. It's a double S, but one of the S's is a CE.
Gloucester.
That's terrible. Gloucester.
Oh, just wait till you get to Mary off.
Huh.
T's are silent.
It's not.
Well, anyway,
Anywho.
anyways, always, the Gloucester sea serpent is
You said that with an accent. The Gloucester.
the Gloucester.
It's Gloucester.
It's Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Oh wow.
Gloucester.
So the Gloucester, I thought it was Gloucester. The Gloucester sea serpent is a legendary creature reportedly seen around and off the coast of Gloucester, Massachusetts, and Cape Ann area in the United States. The heyday of sightings began in August of 1817.
I know who did it.
So how many years ago was that, Vandy? Quick maths. Quick maths.
Mr. McGucket.
You're wrong.
He made it.
So in 1817 and continued into 1818 and even 1819.
Even 1819.
See.
That's an odd year.
See. Okay. So it's described as a massive serpent-like creature with humps along its back. And the Gloucester sea serpent. Yeah, I said that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Y'all got me paranoid now with how I'm saying it.
Do
The
you
Gloucester
want
sea
to play it
serpent-
for you again?
No. Has been the subject of numerous sightings and tales of encounters by fishermen and sailors. And the earliest alleged sighting of such a creature was off Cape Ann, and recorded in 1638 by John Jocelyn. And, occasional sightings all the way up to today, but could be anything.
It's not.
So, the description of this thing. Some say Leviathan, some say sea serpent, some say
Gloucester.
Gloucester. Over the years, numerous other sightings of the Gloucester.
Sorry. I'll take that one. I messed you up.
Just say it different.
Play it again,
Just
sir.
say it different every single time.
Gloucester. Gloucester.
Gloucester. The Gloucester.
Gloucester,
Gloucester.
Oh my-
We were even saying
No, I said Gloucester the whole time.
Gloucester. Over the years, numerous other sightings of the Gloucester sea serpent.
Gloucester,
There. I made it slow for you.
Gloucester.
That help?
Yeah. The Gloucester sea serpent have been reported with descriptions of the creature varying widely. So maybe there's more than one. Maybe there's a colony of them. Some have described it as a long snake-like creature, while others have reported seeing a hump-backed creature with
A
a
camel.
head. What?
Instead of camel.
Oh, with a head like a horse.
A camel.
Yeah.
Just a camel swimming.
A seal or a seal or a dinosaur, because hundreds and possibly even thousands of people have saw the creature, combined with here's another word I can't say.
Gloucester.
Linnaean. Lenin Society's report. However that's pronounced.
So, did we get any pictures, videos, or anything?
Yeah, did they bring their cameras with them back in 1817?
Yeah. No.
Did they try to
nothing.
harpoon it?
There's a drawing. I put it in the Discord.
The Bible tells you can't harpoon Leviathan, so that's a dumb question.
What?
Yeah. So this serpent is one of the most well documented sea serpents ever. Despite the numerous sightings and tales of encounters, the existence of say with me now, Gloucester.
Gloucester.
The Gloucester sea serpent remains a subject of debate and skepticism.
Yeah, but
Some have speculated that the creature could be a large species of eel, while others have suggested that it may be a hoax or the result of misidentification.
I thought you said hose for a second.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you
Might
now.
be a hose.
Let me tell you now. When I was in Alaska,
We saw one.
I
A
saw
hose?
a sea lion. I
Nice.
did not understand how large sea lions were.
Really?
They're pretty
No.
big.
Yeah.
They're massive.
Growing up in California, going to the beaches and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, they look all nice and cuddly, but when you get up close to them, they're pretty vicious.
Dude, I saw one swimming around in the bay because they were
Yeah.
eating salmon during the run.
They're so fast too.
They're massive. I mean, I knew that they were big. Like, I've seen plenty of videos of them comparing them with ships. Some of them getting up on sailboats and stuff. Massive. They seem like they're 10 foot long.
Yeah, I'm saying, of course, obviously, like I know, but I'm pretty sure if I saw one too, I'd be like, man, those are bigger.
Yeah.
than I-"
It was
I
the
have
first
no
time
idea.
I had ever seen one, and it just kind of popped up out of the water and swam for a second, then went back down. Of course, I knew what it was, but I was like, that's insane. So I say that because it very well could be a misidentification of
A sea lion.
of plenty of people thinking that it's one thing and in the reality it's another.
They can get so close to like the edge or the surface of the water. Like you've seen tuna come up and just snatch, bait.
Yeah.
They do the same thing basically.
Yeah.
Obviously not quite as fast, but they're amazing. They're crazy.
So, the history. Although the indigenous people of Cape Ann had told the settlers about a sea serpent, the earliest recorded sightings of the Gloucester sea serpent was in 1817, when a group of fishermen reportedly saw a 60-foot serpent-like creature with a head like a turtle swimming in the waters off the coast of Gloucester. The sightings continued sporadically throughout the 19th century, with many local fishermen claiming to have seen the creature while out at sea. One of the most famous sightings of the Gloucester sea serpent occurred in August 1817 when a group of men aboard the schooner, however you want to pronounce that,
Schooner, yeah.
schooner caravan reported seeing a large creature with a head like a serpent and a humped-backed body swimming alongside their vessel. The crew fired a cannon at the creature, but it disappeared beneath the water and was not seen again, probably because they killed it.
They fired a cannon at it.
But
and
we
it
tried
just-
to kill it. We couldn't find it.
and it just went under the water for some
Yeah.
reason.
So, of course, with many cryptids, people,
Want to kill it.
yes, we're Americans, but with a lot of cryptids, people automatically do. I completely lost my train of thought. I was going to go in a completely
Sorry.
different direction, and then you said that.
They do bad things.
Okay, I know what I was going to say. A lot of people describe seeing a creature in different ways,
Yeah.
and then people like to clump them together as the same thing. So they could be seeing something completely different. Two different creatures.
So someone saw a camel, someone saw a snake, and they're like, they saw the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody said a head like a serpent. Another person said a head like a tortoise or a turtle. Pretty similar.
Yeah.
Pretty similar. However, some are saying it's a head like a camel.
Horse.
Horse. Thanks, Jeremy.
It's just a big seahorse is all it is.
Yeah, it's one of them seahorses.
Yeah.
Those are real.
Others describe it with humps on its back, and others don't. So, could it be completely two different cryptids that they're seeing? Possibly. Could it be a oarfish?
What if the seahorses are fighting the sea snakes?
Bet.
That's why they're often seen together, because they're fighting.
Yeah. I think it could be an oarfish because those things do get massive.
Those things are
Not 60 foot, but they do get rather large.
Yeah. Measuring things, especially back when we first found it or saw it, quote unquote, saw it, measuring things back then in the water is very difficult.
Yeah. Yep. But when it comes to the ocean, there's no telling what's out there.
Oh, I'm fully in agreement that
I mean, there's
probably dinosaurs still out there.
They find new species every time that they go and do a deep dive.
Yeah.
So we're constantly finding new species, and most of the time when they do a deep dive, it is like some sort of mollusk.
So you think there are sea Rexes out there?
Maybe. The thing that fascinates me and always has is literally seahorses.
Dude,
they don't
wild.
make sense.
They're wild. They don't match anything.
Like, my thing is, like, obviously, how do they survive? Like, they have no defenses.
They're just camouflaged.
They run around.
That's all they do. That's all they can do. They don't swim fast. They just wrap their tail around something and like ooh, I'm a leaf.
We went down to the zoo and they have the little exhibit with them, and you get to watch them. It's so weird to watch them swim because it doesn't even look like their fins are doing anything because they're like completely back and they're just like going in directions. I'm like, how? Alien propulsion.
It's just stupid. How? They just built different.
Apparently.
So some have seen or even reported the creature with a stinger or
stingrays
a spear,
now.
or a spear protruding from the head of the creature. So
unicorn.
Yeah.
Some people are saying, well, it's a narwhal.
Oh.
Okay,
sure. Yeah. But a narwhal doesn't get 60 foot and you can't how can you get an animal that's swimming along your boat that sure has a horn or a stinger, whatever? The thing's only a max of what? 12 foot, 18 foot, something like that.
How do you look at that and say,
60 foot?
That's a snake.
Yeah. Like it's going. So for them saying that it's a narwhal, stupid.
Yes,
that's why it's like
it's stupid.
Every single time you have a bunch of people that kind of see the same thing, it's all gonna be jumbled up. It just always is.
Now, could it be a CB?
A BC.
What's a CB?
Just has stingers. My third thing I thought was a bee.
Oh.
We have seahorse. Is it a CB?
So I just. he said stingray, and I was like, "Oh, that's a much smarter thing to think of than a bee."
Yeah.
Imagine being the first guy to see a narwhal, and you're like, "It has a horn."
Well, dude, that's how the whole theory of unicorns came about.
Yeah.
Because they were capturing and killing narwhals and selling the horns. And
how would you guys, like, let's say you go to the local lake you belong to, and you see something like this, how do you come back and try to describe it?
Well,
like, how do you convince us of it?
I tried to convince y'all that a cop car disappeared, and y'all didn't believe me.
So if you saw a narwhal in the lake, but to explain it to us as a snake, I would probably cut you out the podcast. I'd be like, this guy.
We get there and it's like, no, bro, that's not what it was at all.
You don't deserve to be here.
Afuera.
Afuera.
That's what I always think about when I see like all these stories of, oh, there's this great monster or whatever. And I'm like, okay. I think people exaggerate the story a lot just to get people to buy into it.
Oh yeah.
And try to like, because if I tell you, oh, Andrew, there's a snake with a red tail over there or something,
I'm gonna go get it, catch it.
For the normal people, they'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But if I think it's something that nobody's ever seen, it's got a red tail and it whispering sweet things to me.
Whispering sweet nothings into my ear.
And then Andrew's gonna, I'm gonna go get it. I gotta go. Oh, hey, Andrew's dad.
He says he sounds like his dad.
More than I do.
So that's why sometimes we confuse him.
Yeah.
No, but related, do you guys believe in Leviathan?
I have to. It's in the Bible. What am I going to do? Tell you the Bible's wrong?
I know my Bible is right.
Well, you could go from the perspective of they wrote Leviathan, but it wasn't the Leviathan.
Yeah.
Because they also wrote unicorn. They're talking about rhinoceroses.
Speaking of sea monsters, me and Victoria kind of went down this rabbit hole. There's in the Bible there is a god called Dagon.
Yes.
And Dagon was basically a fish god.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
a mermaid.
He's described as literally coming out of a fish, and his skin is like messed up and stuff. Like he just looks different. We were doing a little bit of research, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but Nineveh worshipped the sea god.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't you ever watch the
Yes.
VeggieTales
But I didn't really put two and two together
with Jonah?
with Dagon. So when Jonah comes out of the fish,
That's why they trust him because
exactly.
yep.
He even looks like his skin is all messed up like the god. So when their god in their eyes shows up and is like, you better turn away and serve the real God, everybody listens instantly.
I
No
heard-
issues.
That's wild.
I heard
didn't
someone
even know that.
I heard someone preaching on it, and they took
really?
they took it even further than that. It wasn't that they looked at him and said, "That's your God." They looked at him and said, "That guy beat our God
Basically.
because he went into the
Yeah.
fish and he came out."
Yeah. So
it was more
the-
like this guy's more powerful than our God.
there's multiple ways to speculate it, but it's like either way, he kind of like hijacked their God
Yeah,
to tell them turn away from the God to go to the real God.
That's crazy. That completely opens up my eyes about Jonah, because I had no idea about Dagon.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And Dagon was also the god that it makes more sense when you go back to the further back when the Ark of the Covenant was with the Philistines. Dagon was the god they served as well, and Dagon kept falling over, and that's when they sent the Ark back.
Yeah.
So Nineveh probably looked at them and they're like, well, their God took out them, and now he's coming over here to take out us. We better turn away right now.
But to go back to Leviathan and
Crazy.
Rebel, you can. I don't take that position actually, but you can take the position of it meant something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't. I do think Leviathan was real.
I haven't read Leviathan in a while. It's been a couple years since I actually even
Yeah.
studied it.
I think
The reason why I am saying that's because last night I decided to go when I went to bed to listen to the last few chapters of Job, and there's a whole. I knew that he talked about Leviathan, but I didn't realize it was quite literally like an entire chunk is just describing Leviathan.
yeah.
And he's just, I was like, there's so much here about. That's why I'm like, I think this.
The way I think about it is like, excuse me, when you said, do you believe Leviathan was a thing or something else that they're talking about? I always try to look at the context of how it is written. Like for example, John, he's writing about revelations and he's trying to describe things he doesn't really know.
Yeah.
But in Job, the writing is very matter of fact, very factual, and like this is this.
And God's literally saying, like, I can do all of these things.
Yeah.
I created, he talks about Behemoth, and he's like, I created Behemoth. And then he talks about Leviathan, but he goes really into depth about Leviathan.
Yeah. And it's like
What do you think that Behemoth is?
Behemoth is a whole nother thing too.
I know.
I don't know. I see.
There's
Behemoth
so
is,
many people that say that it's a hippo, but I just can't.
No, because God literally says it's the number one creature, and I refuse to believe the hippo is the number one. Is the number one creature.
The peak of his creation besides humans.
Hippos. Because like again, I don't remember that either, but that was something that stood out to me when he was talking about Behemoth. And he's
I wonder
like,
where they get
the number
hippo
one
from.
creature.
I've heard elephant.
Well, they
never
say hippo because they say it's got a tail like a cedar tree.
Okay.
They say.
Okay.
The Bible says that it's got a tail as a cedar tree, and they look at the tail of a hippo, and it kind of looks like the shape of
Yeah.
cedar.
I do remember like reading those scriptures, and the main point is like you can't, even though I made it, you can't control it.
Yeah. That was
Like,
the
that's,
point of it.
Yeah, that's like, okay, I get it, God, but I want to know what it is.
I don't know, man. I know that there's been thousands of species that have gone extinct since the creation of this world.
Yeah,
So, was it speaking about dinosaurs during that time?
possibly.
I
been.
wonder if some of these ancient creatures will be like woken up and come back.
Ooh.
Because like the Bible really and Job really talks about Leviathan and the behemoth like they're a big deal.
Yeah. Well,
So for them to just kind of disappear,
I mean, science is like, well, we're going to bring back the mammoth. So let's bring back other creatures now.
bring back the behemoth.
They brought back the dire wolf, kind of the dire wolf, not really. But then that goes into the question of what makes that creature. What makes a mammoth a mammoth?
We got to talk about this with Tyler next week.
The woolly
Oh,
mammoth.
I'm not going to get into it because it's a very long topic
Yeah.
and we need to go to the next one. But
And I didn't mean to hijack it into this. I just
it's fine.
happened to hear
I was
about
done. I
Leviathan
was done
last
reading
night.
anyway. So
I want this to be real, the sea serpent, though.
Sure.
Like I think there are still dinosaurs out there. Personally, I think alligators and crocodiles are dinosaurs.
well, that's what science says too.
Yeah.
I mean, they say that
Birds are dinosaurs.
yeah.
Chickens. And we eat them.
Fish are dinosaurs.
Yeah. I mean,
Like sturgeon, you see one of those things? That's
there's
a
the
dinosaur.
thing. There's a thing called the Lazarus species, meaning that
Yeah.
science previously thought that it was extinct, but it's there. I heard about a squirrel. Watched a video about a squirrel type creature that
a not squirrel.
it's its own genus. Like it's weird. It looks like the head of a rat with a really big bulbous nose. Not like a bulbous nose, but between the tip of the nose
Yeah.
and where the eyes are, that space is very rounded, like this. It kind of looks like a cartoon rat, but it's got the body of a squirrel and tail of a squirrel. It's its own little thing.
Interesting.
It's in Laos and Vietnam, the border of Laos and Vietnam.
If I saw
and
that
it's
running
supposedly
around, that would freak me out probably.
it's supposedly been extinct for the past 11 million years. Supposedly,
How would you feel if you're out and you see a squirrel running in front of you and it turns its head and it's that?
yeah.
like,
It's
ooh.
weird. It's a weird. I mean, you'd think that it's just a squirrel that got hit by a car. I mean, like, and its head's all swollen. Like, it's got a very long, exaggerated face, like a rat.
Yeah.
But it's got.
Speaking of squirrels, though, dude, I feel like
We're so off. We need to go to the next.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that.
We're literally squirrel. Literally. So
True.
that is the Gloucester,
Gloucester.
Gloucester, Gloucestershire sea monster, sea serpent monster, Gloucester sea serpent monster, Gloucester sea serpent
Also
monster.
known as the seahorse, also known as Leviathan, also known as narwhals.
Narwhal swimming in the ocean,
Yep.
causing a commotion.
gang, gang.
Speaking of that, rabbits.
I like
Yeah,
rabbits.
since we went down the rabbit trail.
But
Okay. I have to give a disclaimer.
we disclaim anything on this podcast.
This section is a little disturbing. It's not super duper disturbing where it needs that much of a disclaimer, but a little bit. It's disturbing. It's kind of gross at points. Talks about women reproductive parts a little bit.
Ew.
And so if you don't want your kids listening to that,
Shame.
Yeah.
understandable. So do you guys, Andrew said he kind of heard about this. Do you guys know this story, Mary Toft?
I might have seen like a reel about this a long time ago,
Sounds very familiar.
but I haven't listened to a podcast or anything
Okay.
with her on it.
So Mary Toft was born, her original name was Mary Dinier, but she got married. She was born in the early 18th century and was baptized in 1703.
Important.
I guess. It's not really that important.
It means that Jesus did a miracle.
Sometime around 1720, she married Joshua Toft. That's hence her name, Mary Toft. And by 1726, they had 2 children, but one daughter died a few months after birth,
And
leaving.
one was married. One was named Thumper.
No. So they had one child, James.
Was it a rabbit?
No, he was
Oh.
not. He was a person.
Did the rabbit lay eggs? Sorry, I'm going to stop interrupting and let you read.
No, it did not lay
It
eggs.
was a boy, dude. They can't lay
Jeez.
eggs.
Unless he was a seahorse.
It doesn't matter. It's the Easter
Oh.
Bunny, dude. The Easter Bunny's male.
Unless it was a seahorse and he wasn't. She was considered to be healthy and strong, small, fair complexion, and what she she was called by one of her doctors, quote, stupid and sullen in temper.
Wow.
So your average woman at 1725. But I say that as a joke, but not really. They weren't educated. She was a peasant and not educated. So she was illiterate,
Dumb.
just a wife, a stay-at-home wife, basically.
Just a normal wife at the time.
And poor, just a poor village woman in the 18th century in England. Nothing spectacular about her.
Way to put her down, bro.
Just saying. April 23rd.
In fact, we're going to stop talking about her.
I don't even know why I brought her up, to be honest with you. That's like, I don't even know why we know who she is, because she was nothing. Okay, we're done.
We're not even going to talk about women on the rest of the time we have this podcast.
So, April 23rd, 1726. Mary is about 5 weeks pregnant. They're out in the fields, her and some other women, weeding near her home, and they scare off a rabbit. Suddenly, when she sees the rabbit, she starts craving rabbit meat, and they try to catch it, but they can't. It gets away, and she's stuck with this craving for quite a while. Very strong craving for rabbit meat. The reason why that's important to note is because apparently back in these days, it was a common belief that whatever a woman craved when she was pregnant or ate impacted the child in some way.
Like in health wise, or
It just impacted the child. It was just
like what the child is going to become.
just a belief they had that somehow or another it impacts the child. I don't know.
I mean, it does if you smoke and drink. And
I mean, they're right. If you're talking about diet and of how the strong and healthy the child is.
No, like, I don't really fully know how to explain it, but basically, like, oh, if you eat a lot of this type of food, then your child will be more likely to be strong. If you eat this type of food, or if you have the craving for this type, more likely to be feminine. Like, just superstition and
Okay.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I don't even know if it's true that she really wanted rabbit meat, but that's what they started saying. Again,
Nice.
it's important to note that for later. That it's a sign. Anyway, they're poor. She's not remarkable. She doesn't have any money. She can't afford to buy rabbits. So she doesn't get any rabbit meat, and she's just unhappy.
Well, that's how that usually goes.
Okay. 17 weeks later, in August, she still hadn't had rabbit, and she miscarries.
Sad.
It said that she passed a lump of flesh, which is again kind of gross, but
Yeah.
then in September, another lump. But her body continues to act like she's pregnant, even though she's miscarried and now had 2 things pass. And they're kind of like, okay, what's going on? So on September 27th, she gets sick and sends for her mother-in-law and a female neighbor to attend her. And they say, according to her mother-in-law, she goes into labor and they deliver not a baby, but pig guts.
What?
How do they know?
Which is just,
What?
People.
What?
yeah, it's like, what? A few days later, they call in John Howard because she's still something's wrong. And John Howard was a local surgeon and male midwife who'd been doing this job for over 30 years. So this is not some guy who's new to the job. This is not someone who doesn't know what he's doing. For that time period, he was well educated on this subject for their standards, knew what he was doing. He comes to see her, and while he's visiting, she goes into labor again and delivers more pig parts.
What? I don't like it.
I told you it's gross.
I don't like it at all.
And then it stops for a bit. And so they think, okay, I guess they're just like, well, that's over with now. And they treat her like she just gave birth.
Are
and
you sure that it's pig guts and not like leftover placenta?
No, it's
or
pig guts.
did they have DNA test all the way back then?
I will tell you how they know it's pig guts later, but it's pig guts.
Okay.
They treat her like she gave birth. They make her go through churching, which is some old tradition where women after they give birth would have to go through some blessing and
Kind of like Old Testament belief.
kind of,
Yeah.
but Christian quote unquote version of it. And then after she went through that, she was able to go back into normal society. And it seemed like, okay, everything's fine. Then in October,
Of course.
it starts back up again.
The month of Halloween.
But this time it's not pig guts. It's pieces of dead rabbit. John Howard is still there. And because it's harder for him to manage from distance, because I guess he's traveling back and forth from where he is, he moves her to Guildford, which is where he is, so he can monitor the situation. He writes to a man named Nathaniel St. Andre. St. Andre was a Swiss-born physician who moved to England when he was younger and eventually became appointed a surgeon and the anatomist to the royal court. So this is the king's physician, or treats people, in royalty.
Yeah. He's the guy that knows what to do.
So
He's the smart one.
he writes letters to him, and one of his letters he wrote to him, dated November 9th, said he delivered her of 3 more rabbits in the past 3 days. And he describes them all half grown and says that the last one leaped 23 hours in her uterus before it died.
Disgusting.
He says that
I got speculation. I'm going to wait for
He
it.
says as soon as the 11th rabbit was removed, the 12th began leaping. And any curious person who wanted to come quickly, they might witness another one. So they were inviting people to come and visit and press on her belly to feel the rabbits jumping around.
First of all,
This sounds like an incredible hoax.
let's just invite everybody and anybody. I bet she's very comfortable with that. To just deliver rabbits and everybody staring at her.
Does she have any mental issues going on?
Yeah.
She's poor.
Well, there's
That
the
is
biggest
the mental
one.
issue. I remember when I
She's
had
unremarkable.
that. I still have that.
So they're inviting people to come visit and see her. November 15th, Nathaniel St. Andre is like, okay, this is weird. I'm going to go check it out. So he goes along with Samuel Molyneux, the secretary to the Prince of Wales. They arrive and they're told Mary's in labor with her 15th rabbit.
Oh.
So St. Andre goes in and he personally delivers what he describes as the entire trunk of a rabbit skinned about 4 months grown, with heart and lungs still intact beneath the diaphragm.
Skinned.
I have a theory of this, but it's
So-
a very disgusting theory.
So
That's probably my theory.
Yeah.
at this point, the guy that deals with royalty has confirmed, yeah, I delivered one. And it convinces him. Before this, he obviously didn't believe it because why would you?
Yeah.
Now he believes it. And he decides the rabbits are being bred, as he puts it, in her tubes. And he says he can feel an abnormality when pressing on her abdomen, and that these creatures only seem to pass shortly before delivery when her pains begin. He has no explanation how they're conceived. And he also notes Mary and Joshua had not cohabited since the original miscarriage, which somehow does not stop him from taking the rest of the story seriously. So basically, the husband and wife haven't done anything. So it can't, which is like, well, if it's rabbits, I would assume it's not him anyway. Like, what? Molyneux doesn't immediately latch on to the idea. Like, he sees it, but he's still like up in the air on it. But later he says he saw no sign of fraud and said, I'll just let those decide who want to decide if it's real or not.
How sure is he that there's no signs of fraud?
He says there's no signs of fraud.
Like, was she locked away? Or was she just...
She was just there. Staying at...
She was being monitored the whole time? And
Well, probably not the whole time, but yeah, she was at one of his places. So Mary continues producing rabbit parts. Sometimes they emerge stripped of skin, sometimes not. The skin is sometimes different colors. Saint Andre studies them carefully. And it also says that occasionally there would be what looks like paws and portions of the insides of a cat.
What?
And that this is the part that he somehow didn't find suspicious at all, was that oftentimes that smelled like the rabbits were freshly killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this becomes a spectacle. People come and visit.
I've got a theory.
Then on November 20th, Syracuse Elhers, the surgeon to the king's German household, comes. And John Howard wouldn't let him come in at first because he said, oh, you might scare her. So he's resistant to letting him come in. But eventually lets him come in. And so he comes in and examines her. And he also delivers more animal parts. Enough that...
So how much time has gone by so far?
This started in September, now we're November, so 2 months. So he comes in skeptical, he delivers. He's not fully convinced, but he's starting to lean more toward, okay, yeah, something's happening here. And he tells Mary he will speak to the king about arranging a pension for her. Why? I don't know.
Maybe it's their version of welfare. She can't work because of this.
So people come and they start claiming, oh, we can feel the movement of the rabbits. Like it becomes a big thing.
She's getting a lot of attention for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suspiciously.
And so people are visiting, and she also has the full backing of a guy who's been in this industry for 30 years, the full backing of the royal physician, sort of backing by another guy who's the secretary to Prince of Wales, and sort of backing to another guy who has to do with like German stuff. So notable people are all saying, I was there when she delivered, or I personally delivered, and a few of them are reserved in full support. Others like, absolutely, this is real.
I don't like it. Is she? Never mind.
November 26th, they go before the king, reporting their findings in person and showing him some of the rabbits. So not even the king has personally seen some of it. Not in person seeing it happening, but the results.
Yeah.
I don't like.
And then St. Andre writes to Sir Richard Manningham, another physician and fellow of both the Royal Society and the College of Physicians, saying he will come and discuss Mary's case. So he comes on November 28th, along with German doctor and midwife Mr. Limborg, and they're told the king wants him to go and examine. So they leave at 4 a.m., arrive at noon. Manningham examines her, writes about it later in his diary, and says she doesn't look pregnant, but there is a lump on her right side that hurts when pressed. And modern writers sometimes suggested it could be an infection. So he didn't write that part. That's added.
Yeah.
Like he felt something there. People are like, probably an infection. She's also producing milk still.
Okay.
Later that afternoon, they tell him, Manningham, hey, try putting hot clothes on her belly to make the rabbits leap. And so he does, and he feels it. He feels a motion like something leaping within the right side of her abdomen where he had already felt the hardness, like the lump. And he said the movement's very in strength and didn't resemble any hysterical or convulsive motion he had seen, and were strong enough to shake not just him, but 5 or 6 women on the bed with him.
What?
Then 30 minutes after he and the others leave, Howard brings him a piece of membrane he says she just delivered. So he didn't see it, but he saw the after effects of it. Manning believes it's a hog's bladder, and he says he does not think it could have been where they say it was. Basically saying, yeah, I don't think that came out of her. And Mary starts crying because she's like, you think I'm lying?
Yes.
Women.
And so Manningham argues that this is a fraud. St. Andre refuses to accept that, insisting that this is the dumbest thing. St. Andre's logic is that because some of the rabbits are in their fetal stages of growth, these pregnancies must be real.
Oh, no.
So I should have asked this a lot earlier. Is she delivering parts of adult rabbits or
They're young.
young rabbits?
Yeah.
Okay. Like young enough to where the rabbits don't have hair? Like when they're first born?
I don't know. They said the first one was skinned, or one of them was skinned.
Some of them were like early stages. Some of them were like a few months old.
Okay.
But I don't think any of them were like full grown.
Okay. Still all weird. Doesn't matter.
I don't like it.
So yeah, people keep going. Some are now starting to say it's fraud. Some are saying it's real. And some people are saying they don't know whether they should trust their eyes or their ears.
What does that mean?
Meaning there are people saying it's not real, but I'm seeing it. Because people are going there and seeing it.
Yeah. Okay.
And the entire time, Mary is going under repeated internal examinations from different curious medical people. Then, December 4th. So it started September 27th and is now December 4th. This has been basically nonstop since then. A man named Thomas Howard, a porter at the Bognio where Mary is staying, reports that Mary secretly obtained a rabbit from him.
Ooh.
So she is
Busted.
arrested and questioned, and she denies it. Her sister, who is there nursing her, claims the rabbit was only meant for food. That they bought the rabbit, but it was to eat.
So why would she deny it?
Manningham intervenes because he doesn't want her to be sent immediately to prison because he thinks the truth needs to be exposed under controlled observation and not hidden in a cell. So he kind of steps in and saying, you can't arrest her and put her in prison because if you do, we'll never see the end of this matter. So instead, let's keep her under surveillance here until we can get to the bottom of it. So she was kept under close watch in a private house where doctors can still get access to her. On December 6th, she is threatened with a painful experiment to determine, probably would have killed her, determine whether she's carrying rabbits. They probably would have cut her open.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to
Yeah.
say.
And she's pressured by Sir Thomas, Sir Richard, and the Duke of Richmond, and some others. And so she's like, okay, give me a day to process everything. And so on December 7th, she finally confesses. So the real story is that she really had the miscarriage at first. So the very thing that started the miscarriage.
Yeah. And is my theory going to be correct?
Well, what's your theory? Before I say what happened, what's y'all's theory?
Inserting things to be pushed out.
Yeah, ditto.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's
Women.
gross. She
Dude, that's
says
so disgusting.
she won't.
So
yeah, it's gross.
were there live animals involved?
No.
Well, then how were they feeling the jumping?
Flatulence.
Shut up.
So
Oh my God.
she said she won't say who helped her, or at least at first.
So she was putting actual pig
She had
guts?
someone help put parts in her body.
Ugh. God.
The things women do for attention, dude. Like, I don't.
Nothing was
people
put in
do.
the womb itself, but in other places, and that she was told and convinced by another woman that if she produced rabbit parts and seemed like she was giving birth to dead rabbits, that would make her famous and bring in money, and she would be able to have income. So the idea basically, which is what I was saying about with the rabbit at the beginning,
Well, she was famous.
her craving rabbits, I think was like an extra detail that they threw in later to be like, she's craving rabbit, to kind of hint
Yeah.
at this is.
So this is what's crazy. It wasn't even her idea. It was somebody else who was like, yeah, just do this. You get money.
So yeah, they just continued putting pieces up her body, and
That's-
she admits she was pretending a lot of most of the stuff was her faking it, because of course it was. Some of it was real, but it was like probably got infections from gross stuff.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say next was she had to have gotten an infection from that. Like, that's just
It's not meant.
unnatural and should never happen.
And then she doesn't say who it is at first, and then when she does, it changes who it was. Sometimes it's this one dude, sometimes it's his wife, sometimes it's her mother-in-law, sometimes John Howard is involved. So we don't fully know who
And-
gave her the idea, and it honestly could have been her, but we do know that her mother-in-law, John Howard, were both involved at some point, whether it was their ideas or not, because
And that's how we get the Easter Bunny.
they were the
fellas.
ones pressing for. Yeah, that's where the Easter Bunny comes from.
Wow.
Her husband was
Wow.
probably involved too, because I mean,
How do
that's
you?
why I
even-
was saying. That's what I was saying earlier. Was she monitored?
Yeah. How do you even
well,
bring
was-
that?
Isolated.
she was monitored, but she was monitored by John Howard.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that's involved.
How do you even bring that to somebody? Like, hey, this is my plan. That
Yeah, like
conversation
if I was
is so
if
wild.
I was the doc over her, I'd be like, "Yeah, you're going in complete isolation and
Yeah.
we're checking up on you several
We're
times.
putting
today.
you in a padded room.
Yeah, once it comes out that it's fake, she's prosecuted as a cheat and imposter under some statute.
She burned at the stake.
And she's incarcerated, and crowds come to stare at her. But after 4 months, she's released.
They're like, hey, look at her.
The things that people go.
So she's in jail for 4 months. And then she has another daughter in 1728. Now, I would not touch that
No.
with...
No, thank you.
In 1740, she's prosecuted and sent to jail again for receiving stolen goods and dies in 1763.
What a life. That's life. That's life.
Now-
That's what all the people say.
Saint Andre, Ehlers, and some of the others that became convinced, but they were literally duped. They weren't a part of it. Their reputation is ruined, and they tried their best to undo that damage, but they never really.
Well, yeah, I can understand why they never could.
They're done for life.
So
People are banned on the internet for less.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, people believed it, and it became a spectacle, and it's gross.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's like it's ridiculous how it wasn't just like the lower tier society back in the day believed it. It was
the way up.
all the way up to the king, man.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's gross. It would not work today. So don't get any ideas, ladies.
Or men at this point.
Definitely don't get any ideas, man. Ugh.
Yeah, I could have gone. Without hearing that.
I told you it's gross.
I really could have. But you know what I can't go? What I couldn't go on with life without hearing. I was trying to come up with a transition.
But you know what I do want to hear are these
Vandy?
headlines in Tinfoil Truth. Tinfoil Truth.
I must know.
What?
I must know. It is your turn, sir.
Give us our headlines. Explain the game for the new people.
Let me pull them up. All right. If you guys don't know how to play the game, you should by now. Go back and listen to all the other episodes and play along over there.
If you're
Just
new
kidding.
here,
Yeah, but if you are new here, like as am I, Tinfoil or
you
Truth
might as well be new here.
is something we play every
missing that
time.
beard.
Yeah, that is true. Imposter. Every time we do an episode, we play Tinfoil or Truth. I give 2 headlines. This time, I'm going to do it different. I'm going to do true or false. Just to make it a little bit easier because people say it's a little bit too hard. And it's because we have 2 very smart, intelligent gentlemen here, Andrew.
Somewhere, not here.
And Jeremy.
Andrew's too good.
I'm
So-
too bad.
We're not going to give you 2 headlines today. We're going to give you 1 headline. You're going to say true or false. Play along down in the comment section or wherever you are at. If you're listening with other people, play against them. See if you can get it. But since it's true or false, we might do a few more. So I have the headlines. Are you ready, Andrew?
Yeah. Had to get it through you on there.
All right. Here is the first one. Artemis 2 scientists detect strange repeating radio signal coming from a, quote, dead galaxy once thought incapable of producing anything.
Tinfoil.
True or false? True or tinfoil?
Let me ask one question.
Okay.
What was the time spacing between each radio frequency?
That I do not know.
Tinfoil.
It is true.
It's tinfoil.
There's more details because I know that there's one where they've been getting it from for the past several decades, and it's every 20 minutes. So
I don't know. That's just what
okay.
I found online.
Artemis 2 isn't even real.
I know. It's in a Hollywood studio. Headline number 2 is Florida man arrested this week after allegedly trying to pay for food with a live alligator.
Got to be true.
Tinfoil.
Got to be true because it's Florida man, dude.
It is true.
Yeah, the guy walked up there and said,
There you go.
he probably had a little baby alligator. He said, "I'll give you this thing if you give me a pack of
It was
cigarettes."
two.
This one was actually 60 pounds.
Oh,
It was big.
Oh, wow.
It was too on the nose. I was like, you're making something that sounds. Of course, it's
Dude,
true.
you can find any scenario for Florida man.
Yeah, I know. I know. I thought because that's true, you were making up something to trick us.
I wish I was.
Because like
Just
I was like,
walking
that's
up.
so obvious. Like as soon as you say Florida man, it's pretty much like anything you anything you say after that is 100% believable.
gonna be true.
So it's like I played myself.
Here's your next one. Researchers discovered that sharks can make clicking sounds, overturning the long-held belief that they are completely silent.
I'm just gonna say tinfoil to every round this time. So tinfoil.
Clicking noise. They don't have a swim bladder, so I'm going to say false.
It is true.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Something to do with their gills,
That's
how
wild.
they move them.
Because there's a lot of fish species that can make noises, but they do that through their swim bladder.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I didn't know sharks made any sounds either.
Wild.
They obviously don't have lungs, but where there is a will, there is a way. Another one is a startup claimed in Silicon Valley that it trained AI to interpret the emotional state of houseplants through the leaf vibrations.
Tinfoil.
True.
I'm just saying tinfoil.
This
Everything.
is tinfoil.
Wow.
Somebody's going to go do that now. It's going to be true next week.
It's probably already true.
Scientists revived a microscopic worm that has been frozen in Siberian permafrost for over 1,000 years.
True.
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 Yeah.
True. Engineers in Switzerland built a prototype called a dream recorder that records brain sleep activity into blurry video clips.
True.
May not be true, but I know they're doing something along those lines somewhere. So I'm just gonna say true.
It is false. They've not gotten it yet.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
That's I could. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
I'm sorry, sir.
it may be tinfoil because it's not quite whatever, but they're doing something with brainwaves and dreams
Yeah. They
somewhere. It may not even be there.
Yeah. Here's your last one. This one is easy, so everybody listening should be able to get this one. Mexico's Congress once displayed an alleged non-human body during a highly publicized UFO hearing.
True.
UFO hearings. True.
Yes, it's true.
Bet.
That's where the one guy grabbed it and tried to take a bite out of
Yeah,
it.
I know. I remembered the story. I was like,
Ooh, that guy got into Congress.
But not ours.
Yeah, but someone's.
were you there when it happened?
No.
You
I
sure?
wish.
He was able
I
to
would have
witness
taken
it.
the second bite.
He was able to record it from the balcony of his
Yeah, it was-
cruise ship.
Sitting there because they have their Congress meetings on the
And
beach.
and he saw him reach. He reached for it and he said, "Oh,
You looked over to Victoria and said, I got to give me some of that.
I gotta go. What do you think alien tastes like?
Pork.
chicken."
Ooh.
Everything tastes
I
like
think
chicken.
they're soft like tofu.
Like tofu.
Yeah.
Now, what alien are we talking about?
The
We're talking
Greys.
about the Greys.
That's what my mind went to.
Oh well, they'll taste. Ooh, I
He's got a
imagine.
whole explanation right now. They'll taste
I imagine they would taste and have the texture of snake.
Imagine they have like
Okay.
a gross gelatinous texture,
That's
They
why I said
seem-
tofu. Like it's that
but
spongy.
tastes like pork.
They're my explanation is because they're so skinny. It looks like they don't have. It looks like they don't have any fat on them. They're going to be very lean,
Okay.
and snakes are the same way.
Adds up.
And the biggest thing about them is their heads. So That's probably well. It could be
They
gelatinous.
they always seem to have a little belly on them.
Yeah.
Like
What do you think that they eat? Since they got a little bit of belly.
I think it's like protein shakes.
No, it's a beer belly, 100%.
Protein belly. That's weird. I hope we never find out, but apparently we will here
we
soon.
will soon because all the crazy crap that's coming out.
Yeah, they have to shove something into the limelight to be like, hey, look over here.
Don't talk about shoving something into something after that last
Subconsciously, man, you ruined me. But speaking of shoving something down the public's throats,
No.
Stop.
we've avoided this for long enough. I need to hear Andrew's real thoughts on this. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I remember we had the conversation of like, we're not going to comment on this, at least for a while. How long has it been?
Since September
Yeah, so
10th.
6-ish months, give or take a month or two. The more that the proceedings of the court case and all of that keep going on, the more I am like, my inner voice is screaming inside job.
So what do you mean by inside job? Because that could mean a lot of different things.
They were outside, so it was not inside.
Yeah. No, he shot from inside.
He was inside a building.
So
He wasn't on the roof. He was inside the building.
Andrew, help me out with
Got away from the drones.
a general arc. I know he was at a university in Utah, Charlie Kirk was, giving one of his rallies where he has people come up, debate, do all that.
Not a rally, but just a discussion,
Yeah.
debate.
I mean, it was getting to the point where, like, legitimately hundreds and thousands of people were coming out. Not not thousands as in like 100,000, but like thousands of people.
Yeah, at the university, I'd probably say that there was at least like 5,000.
Yeah,
There.
it was growing pretty big. If you guys have been under a rock, Charlie Kirk, conservative activist, started Turning Point USA, all that stuff, was shot, killed, and it was not a good time. The videos went out instantly over social media, and everybody, it seemed like we had answers way too quickly. Like, oh, it was this guy, instantly within
The old guy.
Yeah.
The old guy.
Yeah, like everybody was pointing toward it, and it wasn't just people that were unaware of the situation or not in contact with the situation. It was like, I remember something with the FBI saying, "Oh, we need to talk to this guy. We think it's him," and it's like, how do you know?
Well, let me just kind of.
Give us the overview.
I'm not going to make this my segment again.
Do
but
it.
I
No,
just
legitimately, I want us to discuss this.
Okay.
I don't want to read a bunch of facts and stuff. I want us to discuss it.
So, like you said, if anybody's living under a rock, right, you would literally have to be living under a rock. So I don't think we really need to have a whole big explanation of what happened.
Right.
Everybody's heard all the conspiracy theories about all this. I just know that it got in the news again, besides just Candace Owens talking about them, because of Iran. They got involved.
Yes.
So is that why you're wanting to
Yes.
bring this up again?
And because I think there was a gentleman on the Sean Ryan podcast where he had some passing by conversations with Kirk, and when he was in one of the government buildings in, I believe it was DC, he had a passing moment, and where they said hello, this, that, and the other, and Kirk literally said he basically swears on everything, that Kirk looked at him and said, "Do not let us get into a war with Iran." And this was several months before anything happened.
You're talking about Joe Kent,
I believe so. I don't.
the guy that dropped out from Trump's cabinet.
I believe so. But if that did happen, and the man seems very serious about it,
Well, I mean, there's video of him saying, probably multiple videos, that a war with Iran would be a horrible mistake and we need to avoid it.
yeah, which now we're in one.
No, supposedly we won. We're out.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. The more that we learn about the situation with just certain things, and watching the video of the shooter jump down, he doesn't have a gun. They find the gun. They say he took the gun apart. I've got guns. Andrew's got guns. Jeremy's got guns for arms.
I don't.
Jeremy's got guns for arms.
I don't.
We both know.
He's got arms for guns.
True.
Yeah. There's no way that what's coming out through the FBI and stuff, it looks like Kennedy all over again in certain aspects. Like, there's no way you could take apart a gun.
Yeah, that
put it in a small backpack that he had, and then why would you go hide it in the woods in a towel after you put it back together? That none of that makes sense. And I've watched the video of him jumping down off the roof, running away, walking away, whatever you want to say. It did not look like he had a gun. It did not.
Okay, Vandy, just say what you want to say. It was the Jews. That's what you want to say, right?
No.
it was Netanyahu
Himself, personally. That's why he was the first person to tweet about his death.
Inside. It was an inside job. He was inside.
Yeah. And then there's all the stuff with the lapel mic and the factory blowing up and the receipt and all that.
This is where Iran comes into play.
Yeah. I think it's an inside job.
Okay. Here's my thought process of it. Just with Iran. So Iran, they hacked Kash Patel's life. They hacked everything about him. Yep. They got all kinds of emails, pictures, every website that he's visited, any information that he has, any burner email accounts that he has, they all got it. Old pictures of him when he was a young lad and everything else. So,
speaking of which, everybody thinks Iran's in the Stone Age. They're not.
No,
they've got more capabilities than we give them credit for.
A lot of people associate with the entire Middle East as Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Iran is very, very sophisticated.
Yeah, and you have tons of, I might have to bleep this one out, but Muslims that are activated for the cause of what's going on.
Yeah. So while they hacked Kash Patel, all his information, they supposedly found information on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And they said that it was an inside job by the government because they found that the government purchased the rights to a lapel mic explosive from a company a year prior. Then they...
which is also weird because you have the Jews, Israel, getting access to all the pagers and blowing those up. Yeah. And it was like, we see you, we'll do one better.
Yeah, so that's... Yeah. Then they said that... wow, my mind went blank. But there
was a receipt for it.
Yeah, there was a receipt for it. But then they... Obviously, it wasn't a shot, but it was the lapel that exploded. And it didn't explode correctly.
Yeah.
And so a piece of shrapnel went into his neck. It wasn't supposed to do that, supposedly. Yeah. It was just supposed to put a hole in his chest. And which is... It sounds to me like a breach charge, like a small breach charge.
Yeah.
A breach charge is a very small copper cone that's inside of a container that has explosive behind that. That explosive shoots the copper cone through a door or metal and that pressure, that amount of pressure, blasts it through there.
Right.
And it goes at an insane speed. It's literally molten copper that's going through.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what it sounds like to me. But then they said to cover up their tracks, the government to cover up their tracks, they made the plant, the explosive plant that made these, they destroyed it. 16 people lost their lives. That plant was in Tennessee. I forgot the town.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, I believe, 10 days after, 15 days
Yeah.
after his assassination. And
Did people die in that too?
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I thought. Like, so
Pretty much everyone who was there.
yeah. So that
10 to 15. I mean, it completely wiped
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
the factory off
So they not only got, if this is all adding up and it's them, they not only got Kirk, they got 15 other people.
to cover up, supposedly.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe any of that's true.
Why?
Here's my reasoning. We're at war with Iran,
Yeah.
and it's called information warfare.
Yeah.
The American people aren't popular with this war to begin with,
Right.
and so they're trying to spread more misinformation to divide the American population from the government and pressure the American government to stop the war. Very simple, very straightforward.
Yeah.
Where they got all this from is that people were spreading all those theories way beforehand
Yep.
also. And so it's super easy for Iran to just say, hey,
Yeah.
we hacked into this guy's account.
They
The
let
FBI director, of course we have information on it.
they let the people do the work for them and just claimed it.
And they
Yeah.
didn't show that, did they?
I don't know
No. I
what
don't
they
think did.
showed. Honestly, I didn't look into it.
I know with the Cash Patel stuff that they showed random.
Yeah, they showed what they had for Cash Patel, and I've seen some of that.
Which-
but the only way that I know that
Of that, even that is so easily from both sides can be said, oh, that's just doctored up.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be fair, yeah, it could be.
I'm sorry, I'm going to believe, even though that I don't really believe my government, but I'm going to believe my government over Iran, especially in a time of war. Like, even if they did actually find that information, it's almost impossible for me to believe that
Yeah.
because of this fact. Now, I don't know who killed Charlie at this point.
Because you have the whole family saying that our son didn't do this, the guy that's being accused.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's the family.
Yeah.
I get it. But the stuff with the gun and the ballistics, and no bullets do crazy things, so I'll give the benefit of the doubt with that one.
Yes, and Daily Mail came out with a article saying, with the headline, that the ATF could not match the bullet to the gun.
Right.
Now,
There's a lot of misinformation going around about that.
yes, a lot of people want to say, see, this proves that it wasn't a 30-06 and it wasn't the gun that whatever his name is supposedly used. Not necessarily. Daily Mail said
Right.
they couldn't match it. That doesn't mean that it's a completely
Yeah.
different bullet.
Bullets go
It can
in
mean
and
that it could
ricochet,
be-
tear apart, everything.
Yeah, it all depends on the type of bullet that the guy used, everything, or whoever used. If it was an FMJ, it'd be a lot easier to find
Yeah.
that.
If it was a hunting ram made to blow up inside
Yeah.
and go everywhere,
If it was a ballistic
Hard.
tip, if it was a ballistic tip bullet, if it was a copper core bullet,
Yeah.
which is a lead core, which expands rapidly. I've pulled several out of deer, and they stay intact very well, and the rifling on the back of it is there. A lot of people say that it was a palm gun from one of the
Yeah.
security agents, and then what people want to take on and blow up the security agents were doing hand signals and everything else. This proves
there
that
was
they were
a
involved.
lot of videos about that going on too.
But security does hand signals just to
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
to each other. That's
Yeah.
what all
That's
security
norm-
does.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
normal. So I think obviously nobody really knows what's going on.
Here's one of my biggest red flags besides the gun is they said that this is from the FBI. They said that he gained access to the rooftop via one of the buildings. If that is so, why did he jump off the roof of the building in front of a lot of people that said they saw him jump off the roof of the building? Why not just go out the way he came in?
The door could locked behind him.
That's true. I think somebody locked it to try and set him up. Okay, we got our shooter, whatever. If he did it.
So about the gun,
Tell me about the gun.
there's grainy video. Of course, everybody's seen
Yeah.
the video of him jumping off the roof. But it does kind of look like there's a gun wrapped around his back.
See, that don't add up either because they said he took it down.
Exactly. And there's so much false information spread by the police department themselves and the investigators, which is terrible because they're contradicting themselves in many different ways with the gun specifically. Man, I don't know, man. I'm lost for words and honestly disconnected from it all for a long time because people are spreading all kinds of mess,
Yeah.
including the fact that Charlie Kirk was a time traveler.
To be honest with you, it's hard for me to add much because of the same thing. I quickly just disconnected from it because you had the people who didn't like him who were celebrating it, which made me upset. I don't care about agreeing with him or not. You don't have to agree with him. I didn't agree with him on everything, but you shouldn't celebrate this no matter who it is. So that was already like, this is getting me frustrated, and so I want to step away. And then you had the people who were taking advantage of it for their own views, and then you had the people that were saying it's Israel, it's Israel, it's Israel, and then you had the people that started saying he's a time traveler, and I'm just like, this is stupid, and so I don't even.
What I do know is the man's dead.
Yep.
That's what I know.
Unfortunately.
That's what I know.
And some
is
people
a
don't even
fact.
believe that.
Yeah, and some
Yeah.
people don't even believe that.
I've seen
Now, what is super odd, what is super weird, is if it was a 30-06, getting hit in the neck, there has to be an exit.
Yeah.
I'm
Soft tissue. It wasn't to the bone. It was like up where it's soft tissue mostly.
as a hunter,
A good
there-
hunter
there is going to be an exit wound.
with that big of a bullet. That's bigger than a 300 Win Mag.
30-06?
It has more powder.
Okay.
I shouldn't say bigger. It's moving faster.
Faster.
Than most.
Yeah. So a 30-30, man. I've shot many deer with 30-30. It's the same caliber bullet, 30 caliber bullet, much less powder. It's effective out to 200-300 yards. It does more damage than what we saw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've shot deer with a 223, and it does more damage than what we saw.
Yeah. It's just
So that part for me is extremely weird.
it begs the question, what information did he have that people wanted him to be silenced for?
The next thing that's super weird to me is they tore down everything extremely fast.
Very fast.
The next thing that's weird to me is if there was an exit, they should have been able to see it on the background itself.
Right. There wasn't.
No, the next
It was a
thing
pure
that's-
white background too, I think.
Yes. The next thing that's very odd for me is within, I believe, 12 to 24 hours, there was a tunnel underneath where he was sitting, and they filled it up with concrete.
Yeah. That
And
should
there's
never be.
the same people that was saying Charlie Kirk was a time traveler also said that there was a guy that popped up from that hatch and shot up, and I don't believe that at all either. But I mean, it's why would you fill that up with concrete? It's a maintenance tunnel.
Yeah, I personally believe that the government force fed us facts in an attempt to not have riots and stuff. Personally, because they love to.
I don't believe that.
The reason why I say that is because they love to control the narrative.
That I agree.
So I don't think all of them. I think certain things were shoved in our face really fast. And like, for example, with the older gentleman that they were like, oh, that's him.
Well, for him, he's odd because
He's old.
I'm not going to go all into his backstory because, like I said, it's been a long time since I looked into all that. But he's been arrested before for acts of terrorism.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as soon as the shot went off, everybody hunkered down, gave him like 5 seconds. He jumped up and said, it was me.
Yeah.
And he later said that he did that to cause a distraction to let the guy go, the shooter get out.
See, yeah.
And then
That
he
screams
said,
inside job so bad.
But then he said that he didn't know the guy. He just hated Charlie so much that he wanted the shooter to go. And supposedly, within the investigation, they couldn't find any correlation between the shooter and this older gentleman. I'm not even going to call him a gentleman because he's not a gentleman. Older guy. So, man, there's so much. So much.
Then you just have the picking up of Turning Point by his wife going ballistic with everything.
Yeah, well,
I kind of get that.
I'm not going to go into all that.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Different story.
I'm going to leave her out of it because
she's wild.
There's more people that are more particular about her than him.
Oh, yeah.
And the shooting.
Oh, yeah.
And
there's whole theories on that.
Yeah. And again, I'm not going to get into all of that. There's so much going on with her. But it's just a wild situation. And I think that there was a lot of people that wanted their channel to blow up.
Yes.
And so they started putting things together.
Be the first with the news type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because of them, and I'm not calling any specific person out because it could be a person with 1,000 followers doing this, and then they get 2 million views on their one video. But because of them, they flooded everything and caused so much misinformation and so much political discourse and so much confusion that people don't even understand who actually took the shot. There's videos that I saw that there is a little tiny flash of light in one of the buildings if he was sitting on his right shoulder. And then there's people saying that there was a guy on top of the roof towards his right shoulder and that you could see him ducking down and everything. And I keep saying it over and over again. There's so much and I'm not going to get into it, but
there's just too many people that I could see have the motive.
Yep.
Our government, other governments.
The other thing is, which they are investigating this. There were people on social media accounts that was saying on this day, Charlie Kirk is going to get what's coming to him.
Yeah.
Coming for him.
Yeah.
And there were several accounts that were saying that. So that says that there was foreknowledge of the attack by multiple people.
Yeah.
So, and there was also speculation of the guy talking to his friends on the forums and saying all this and that, but there's not a whole lot of evidence, as far as I can remember. I could be completely wrong. There's not a whole lot of evidence of him directly telling people that, hey, I'm going to do this on September 10th.
Yeah.
Directly saying what he's going to do to who. Again, I could be completely wrong because I've stepped away from all that
Yeah.
a long time ago. There could be more information during the trial that comes out itself.
I really hope
that.
we get actual facts.
We won't.
I know we won't, but I really want us to.
The defendant, they're trying not to allow the
Court?
the court case to be videoed,
Right.
and they're trying to keep it very they're trying to keep it a closed door trial.
Which that makes no sense.
There's arguments on both sides either way.
Yeah,
But
that makes sense to me.
I mean, I think it personally, I think it does need to be videoed and released to the public because of everything that's gone on.
Yeah, no, I don't think it should be closed, but it makes sense to.
Well, from the defendant side, yeah.
So it makes sense that they would want it to be. There's reasons to, but I
Yeah.
think that the scale of it is too big.
And for the jury, man,
Yep.
you can't have somebody that's unbiased on this one.
Oh, yeah.
You can't find anybody in the country that's unbiased for it.
It's
Besides maybe your grandma in the nursing
Yeah.
home. I mean, like, even your grandpa.
Break out all the old people.
Yeah.
Bring them in.
Dude, even my grandma's got
Both
both.
your grandma sends videos.
I know. Both my dad's parents, they have opinions. But they sit there and they watch Fox News at night.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're going to be
everybody's got
biased.
an opinion. I guess to wrap this up, what I deep down I would put all my eggs in a basket, so to speak, is that this was a big test to see what would happen if they did that. Like whoever did, I think they wanted reactions. I think they wanted riots. I think they wanted a lot of things. And just, I feel like it's in the same vein as like the pandemic. They wanted to see what they could ensue or incite.
So when you say they, you mean government?
Personally, yeah. I think
Okay.
it is a government, or if not multiple.
No, I don't think that's what this was. I think it was whatever party, because it could have been multiple people.
It legit could have been.
But whatever party did it because they wanted him to shut up.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they wanted him to shut up, not because he had too much information, but because he had too much sway. And they're like, we don't want his influence on.
Yeah. I think
this.
that's a valid theory as well.
And that's the only way we can do it is if we kill him.
Well, through the grapevine, podcasters were also saying that the next ticket was supposed to be Vance and Kirk.
Yeah. I
for
heard
the
that.
2028 presidential election.
Yeah.
And if not him being a vice president, they were wanting him to run as president either in 28 or 32.
Yeah, he could have run for president.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sure, somebody, obviously, they could have been like, no, we can't have him as president.
But
whatever.
I mean, yeah, it could have been. Genuinely could have been Israel related because he was not in good terms with certain things going on with Israel. So it could have been Israel saying we need to sniff out this influence. It could have been it could have been a political inside government thing that didn't like his influence on what Trump is doing because he talked with Trump and dealt with Trump. I don't think Trump had anything to do with this. But it could have been some coup or some, not coup, but some inside government thing. It could have been leftists who were just
Yeah.
mad because we don't want him influencing the midterms. We got to get him out before the
Sure.
midterms. And we got to do it before close to the midterms because if it's during 2026, it'll be too fresh. So we got to do it now. So it could have
Yeah.
been that. It could have just been one crazed person who really believed that he's a Nazi.
I think we shouldn't underestimate that the establishment of Republican Democrat don't think that they won't team up to take somebody out that is against both of them.
Well, we've seen the government do it
Yeah,
before with Kennedy.
we have. Exactly my point.
And they did that. That it was the CIA. I mean, everybody
I believe
knows.
that too.
Everybody knows that it was the CIA. I mean, it's obvious. And I hate doing that. I complain about people doing that all the time of saying, well, if you can't see that it's this, well, then you're just dumb, and then moves on. I hate doing that. But we're not, this isn't a JFK segment here.
Dude, I can't wait till we get to heaven, and I'm just like, I probably won't care about this when I get to the other side, but we have eternity, so maybe at one point I'm gonna be like, okay, what was the facts of this? What happened?
Yeah.
What hands were shook and deals were made here?
Bottom line, you said your opinion. You said your opinion. My opinion is the man's dead.
That's not an opinion.
That's a fact, bro.
I don't know who did it.
What?
The most likely,
And what are we doing here?
the
You're
most,
supposed to tell us.
the most.
Who
likely,
did it, Andrew? What do the numbers mean?
Sorry, we'll let you get your.
The most likely Occam's razor is that it was the original guy, the guy that they have in custody right now. And what caused all the confusion and chaos is the sheriff's department wanting to get information out as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the facts right. Not in a malicious way, but they assumed and they said things that they thought was fact, but it turns out once you review footage more, and that's what I think. There was foreknowledge of the attack. That's fact because of these accounts that said that he's going to get what's coming to him.
But I think that too is also something that people just say.
Sure.
But somebody meant it.
Sure. But that's very, it could have been somebody, whoever it was on Discord, saying he's going to get what's coming to him and throw water, and they were wanting to throw a water balloon at him.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah, there's always going to be the majority that says something like that, and then in that majority, there's somebody who actually will.
It's such a coincidence. It's such a coincidence, just like the coincidence of CNN airing Trump's rally at Butler when they haven't aired Trump's rally in a long time. Coincidence? Sure.
There's a lot of shots being taken at Republican people, or I don't know how to phrase it, political figures on one side.
Yeah.
But anywho, we don't have to keep going on this. We've been on this for a little bit. We don't know who did it, but I tell you who does. Jesus Christ. Say Christ is Lord.
Christ is Lord.
Ugh. Any closing remarks, fellas?
Goodbye.